So, for anyone wondering, this is the unit that I've been longing for a very long time. But this is actually day one. This is some of our stock here. There's a load more stock over there. And basically behind the camera guy there's a load of racking, same as this racking here, which I spent the last couple of days, actually Sarah and Benita, to be fair, put all this racking up. This is the start of something beautiful. So the idea is, this actually is going to go, in fact, by the time this content goes out, this here probably won't be here because you can't actually drive into this space at the moment because these RSJs are here. So we're getting these taken out. So by the time this goes out, that has probably already happened. But basically, the plan is the bucket truck sits there and the 3 other vans can park in here at night. I'm trying to get everything off the road at night. The ramp will go there, the service ramp for the vans. So that's going to sit somewhere there like that. Whatever we've got to do, maintenance or whatever, we can just do it here, lift the vans up, we can do whatever we want to do here. I was going to put it there, but it's easier if you just drive in and you can just drive straight onto the ramp there. And then materials. One thing we've always struggled with from day one, not so much when you're working on your own, but when there's a gang of you, there's like 4, 5, 6 of you, there's an office, and when you're doing like 3 or 4, 5, 6 jobs a day, you've really got to have your materials ordering process down to a fine art. And anyone who is in a small business that's growing will know exactly what I mean. So what we're doing here, and this is half the reason we wanted a unit, we need to find a way to make material ordering faster, slicker, more efficient. So this is all our Schneider stuff. We've got cable, there's tons of stuff behind the camera guy there. But the idea is, very similar to Screwfix, Toolstation, a very similar setup. I mean, I very loosely kitted these racks the other day, very, very loosely. But for instance, you have a rack and you'll have the front and back and you'll have part numbers. So those are MR16, those are just MR16 halogens. So you have a part number there, you come in, Sarah and Benita, they pick off what we need for the job that day. The van comes in, they have a bucket ready of all the stuff we need. You take off, 8 halogen lamps. They use the part number, reduce it on the list upstairs so we know how much we've got on the racks all the time. It goes out on the vans, they go out and do a day's work. And that way you always keep on top of your material ordering. And then when stock runs low, they'll automatically know upstairs, they can order it in, it comes into the unit, and it's just a nice fluid. But obviously without a unit, it's just next to impossible. So this is day one, everybody, this is it. This content is going to be aired probably in about 3 months from recording. So I have no idea what has happened now when you're watching this, but I'm scared, but very excited at the same time. This is it, everybody. If you don't take a chance, you don't get anywhere. The landlady here, who I'm renting this place off, she's like a property developer or something, I think. And she basically said, all this goes all the way around here, round into the kitchen. It's just all electrical stock. And she just said, would you like it? I said, yes. So I've got to go through and actually figure out what it all is. But yeah, some of this stuff I just won't use. But I wasn't going to turn down the very generous offer. Sky cable, I'll certainly use that. Cat 6, I'll have that. Looks like we have different colours of Cat 6. Yeah, eventually these will all have part numbers and everything, and it will be a lot more sort of streamlined and fluid. But it's in its infancy at the moment. Same again with all of this, all different accessories and stuff, cable, everything. It'll all have a home, and when engineers come in during the day, they just hop out, pick up what they need, scan it out, jump back in the van and disappear again. That's the plan anyway. Boxes and boxes of this Legrand stuff. I just don't use it. I mean, it's beautiful gear, I mean, it's just lovely stuff, but all brand new. I mean, she said, do you want it? And I was like, yeah, I took it, but I don't know, I'll stick it on eBay or something, get rid of it. Hoping to find a gold bar or something, something she's forgot, she snuck away in here. I think that'll all go on eBay, so that doesn't need to be in here. That can go back out there. I don't know at what point during the video this is going to be dropped in, but somewhere it's going to be dropped in, because I'm going to give you 2 pieces of sound business advice, okay? Number 1, estimate. Like a marmalade jam. Right, number 1, breaking down your prices for clients. I will not do it out of principle, just because it's more hassle than it's worth. And there's a reason for this, all right? I'm not just going off on some crusade here. There's a good principle behind it. If you give someone an estimate, and there's not a quote, right? An estimate varies, okay? So we're talking about estimates, not quotes. I never give quotes. I just will not give them because you're just fixing yourself too much. So you just give an estimate. And I'll give you an example. We gave an estimate out to somebody the other week. Normally when you do an EICR or something and it fails or whatever, you give them an estimate for the work that needs to be done, right? And we gave this person an estimate and they turned around and they said, okay, no problem. Can you break down this estimate? How did you get to this price? And we just said, as the furthest I'll break it down is I said, well, it's 2 days labour at X amount plus materials. That's it. And he came back to us and he wanted it broken down even more. There were like multiple jobs. We had to change a fuse board, we had to change downlights, and we had to do there was an earthing issue or something. But the problem is, if you break it down per job, you run into this dangerous bit where, and it guarantee it happens, if you break it down like, oh, it was £200 to do that job, 150 to do that job, the customer then turns around and they go, guarantee it, they'll go, oh, you know what, actually, I'll tell you what, I'll get somebody else to do that job, but can you do that bit there and that bit there that you priced for? And it's like, no, I can't, because it doesn't work like that. There's your EICR, there's your estimate, that's when we can do it, and that's it. There's no, so don't break down your pricing. I know on Twitter, Karen Boom, I can't remember her name, she doesn't break it down. I totally agree with her, 100%. Just don't break down your pricing. So that's number one, because it gets you into so much trouble later on, it's not worth it. So that's number one. The second one, and this is probably the most important one, do not, and please take this from somebody who has been burnt many, many times over many, many moons, do not haggle your day rate. I cannot categorically tell you enough, just don't do it. It is more hassle than it's worth. I will explain why. If your day rate is, let's say, I don't know, 500 quid, just whatever, okay, just for the sake of picking a figure. If you say to a client, you know what, this is, it's going to take about a day, I'll just give you a day rate, 500 quid. And if they turn around and say, you know what, Tom, I'll tell you what, if you do it for 400, I'll take the job. That is the moment where you hop into your van and drive away, okay? There is no reason on this earth you would go along with it. If a client is haggling with you at the very beginning of the job and you haven't even started, it will, I promise you, it will just keep going, and by the time you get to the end of the job, they will just be the biggest pain in your ass. There is just no, we just don't do it. We had a job, I actually can't give too much details because they might be listening. We had a job literally earlier this week, and he haggled about 50 quid. That's all it was. It was like £1,000 bill. He haggled 50 quid for a particular job we were doing in that estimate, right? The problem is we'd already booked the job in, because I said to Sarah on the Saturday, do we really want to do this job? He haggled the price. Do we really want to get involved? And Sarah was like, look, it's too late now. We've booked in the job. We've got to do it. We haven't got a choice. Lo and behold, proper bell end, all right? It just got to the end of the job, questioning everything. Money. He just wants money off, basically, and he wants free work. Second a customer haggles anything, just walk away. It is not worth the hassle. It's the same as it's the old saying, going off piste here, but it's the same as buying like if you're a car salesman, it's easier to sell a 10 grand car, straight up, easier to sell a 10 grand car than it is to sell a £1,000 car, simply because £1,000 is that amount of money where if you're poor or you haven't got much money to pull together, it's the amount of money you could get that off friends and family. You can claw together £1,000, and when they get to go and see the car, they'll just hammer you down as much as they can to get as much money off. £10,000 is a bit different. People have got that sort of money. So it's easier, and it's the same thing. As soon as you haggle a day rate, just walk away. It really isn't worth the hassle. So those are my two pieces of advice that I've learned, that I can give, that I've learned over the last 15 years. I don't know at what point we're going to go back into the video now, but yeah, that's my advice.